What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Gonna do this one really quick. It's late. It came from the sauna place. I'm like sweaty dry. Okay, what's up? The retirement age is going up. Okay. Don't depend on entitlements or a business platform. Why am I sharing this? And again, on the screen, you guys already know it's the Digital Liberty Tour. Dallas is the day right there. Las Vegas, Atlanta, and in Atlanta. DC, you guys got moved to April. Sorry about you. So listen, okay. Why am I sharing you the Nikki Haley quote up there on the screen? Because I feel every couple of years they send somebody to come out and say something unpopular. And everybody's like, shame on that person saying that thing that's unpopular. That's absolutely 100% true. I don't think y'all remember this, but there was a time Obama was like, yo, we got to really strengthen the grid. Okay. And then Trump came and signed an executive order strengthening that same grid. Now, see what happened is Obama was pushing it through. They was giving them some resistance. Trump done came in and said, we got to strengthen this grid. Now, I'm not here to scare y'all, not anything like that. Y'all saw what happened in a snowstorm in Texas, right? And people were making fun of Texas, ha ha ha, not realizing the rest of the whole country is basically arm holding each other. Now, let me explain to you. California relying on Nevada relying on the state beside it. The state beside it relying on that, right? That's the left side grid, right? On the right side grid, we got North Carolina, Tennessee relying on North Carolina, Georgia relying on North Carolina, and the dams in Tennessee. It's a giant relay race, right? Where we're all holding hands. It's not necessarily stable, right? And so when they talk about the retirement ages going up, I want y'all to understand what they're saying. If you're a skilled older person right now, they're not talking about the guy with one leg at work and one eye and can't walk and isn't adding anything to the team. They're talking about skilled doctors, engineers, lawyers. They trying to convince you, hey, baby, you gonna keep working. like they're just giving you the breadcrumbs. Hey, we gonna need y'all to keep working. We just don't have the replacement people. Now we just saw them bring in a ton of illegal immigrants. Let's just keep it what it is, right? Because now they're enforcing the border. Now Texas out there, thousands of soldiers acting like they stopping the border all of a sudden. It looked bad on TV, so now they got to put some pressure on it. But at the end of the day, we need those people because 70% of all our taxes are paid by who? The baby boomers. Okay. And so we're going to keep this table and chair dance going for a while. Now, why did I bring up the grid? Why did I bring up the power grid? Now, I was watching some educational training about the power grid and all this other stuff. And it takes about 2 years for us to make a transformer. And we only got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 transformer companies, the top ones in the United States. I'm going to just tell you, we got one in Texas. We got Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Michigan, Massachusetts, Spokane, Washington, D.C., Madison Heights, Michigan, North Cross, Georgia, Tuscan, California, Roanoke, Virginia, and Robert Park, California. I'm saying it wrong. Now, why did I bring this up? You're probably like, Erica, why you bring this up? Because they give you breadcrumbs. They give you breadcrumbs before anything bad happens in our country. They give you some beautiful breadcrumbs. They don't just be like, I don't even know why, right? They tell you what's about to happen, right? So why did I start investing in oil and gas? When I'm listening on the news, they're like, yeah, Biden's just running through the reserves. I'm like, put some more money in oil and gas. When I see, I'm in certain meetings and people are like, yo, Augusta, Georgia, this other place in Georgia, you should invest in it. And then I see the bill come out where they're going to have a highway going through those cities. It don't take but 10% of your brain to listen to just a little bit of the, C-SPAN, just listen to some of the government stuff. Again, as a person who used to work underneath city council members, I read it. I look at different politics differently, right? I'm not always like red pill, blue pill. I'm more like, what y'all say we need? And so a couple years ago, they had what's that guy nobody like? Paul Ryan and gosh, what is his name? Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney. Now, Mitt Romney was like 45% of these people ain't taking care of themselves. No way. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing it. And he wasn't lying. They're receiving a tax refund every year. They really don't add much to our society. They probably make barely 40,000 a year. If anything, they're just a worker bee, and they should be content to have a house and be chilling. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it like that. That's what I'm saying, right? Paul Ryan was like, yo, if we don't adjust y'all working age, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a financial problem. Y'all gonna have to retire later. Okay. Y'all gonna have to keep working. We're gonna have to take down some of these entitlements. Now they done told you that was like 12 years ago when they said that. Now Nikki Haley saying it again, like they're already telling you what is gonna happen. They already letting you go down the breadcrumb road, right? And so now when I hear all this stuff about the grid, and we might have a solar fair in 2025, which the last solar fair we had in America knocked out the telegram system. Now y'all may thinking, Erica, the telegram system, it couldn't have been that great. The telegram system was the best thing we ever had at that time, right? And it knocked it out. So they're telling you these things and they're charting these things towards you. And the government's already wrote out this beautiful bill, this $1 billion infrastructure bill. And there are already companies getting people running behind it. Okay. There's already companies making money off of it. And I just tell y'all this stuff because I want y'all to understand, like me telling you, hey, you need to get a job that makes more money. You need to invest, you need to be able to have some, design your life. A lot of people, they don't want to hear that. They're like, oh, Erica, please stop, like cut it out. And I'm like, I'm just trying to give you the tea leaves. Now, I watched a bunch of content from podcasters because I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be offensive. It's gonna be so offensive, and I want y'all to be offended. Please be offended and counsel me any day, every day. Counsel Erica Williams. I sit here and listen to about 15 over the past 3 days white boy podcasts that were talking about business. I'm talking about from 18 years old to 22. They weren't talking about women. They weren't talking about girls. Now, there were two of them. Nonchalant podcast did talk about two of the guys on here just got married, and they're 23. So they were talking about marriage. But literally, these Gen Zs, they different, y'all. These white Gen Z boys are like, how's the fastest way to get to the mill? Do I need to start a service business? Do I need to hire some of my country bunking cousins to run it? What do I need to do? Get me there faster. What I got to do? What I got to type up? What's the laptop? Let me get through it. Let me knock it out. Now, this didn't surprise me because this coincided the same time they released a report that the military said, man, we had the lowest white male enlistment in history. We don't know what's going on. I said, I know what's going on. I just sat there and watched 15 different podcasts from young white men who were like, hey, man, get you a website. Go hire you some of these kids that just came out of college. Pay them about $40K, 40 to 60K a year. Get them to run your stuff. And now you go enjoy, Bali and ball out. Now, people going to be like, oh, that's frat bro stuff, Erica. No, I literally listen to some of these kids and they're not thinking around. Okay. I'm talking about agency stuff. And several of the guys, they got burned after that Ty Lopez thing, learning how to do agency. And they took that same knowledge and they started buying up service businesses. Why? Because just how they're hitting the computer, there's a whole batch of guys who are like, I'm not going to college. Show me how I can make some money with my hands. Oh, I can cut grass and get YouTube paid. I can climb on roofs and get paid. I can do. I'm telling my nephew and his friends, they literally have little businesses. They got little businesses and they are already. I'm gonna just give you like this. My nephew couldn't do it, but her older family member was like, I will buy the dually and the car hauler, and we'll make sure you have contracts as you turn 18. But for now, the other family member drives around. These kids are not playing, y'all. They getting to it. They not out here chasing booty all day. They not out here at raves getting drunk. Like, boy, these Gen Zs ain't playing. I really want y'all to understand, like they are really like, I just watched these 15 podcasts in a row, but even when they were on the podcast speaking, like the boys are like, yeah, 10 guys I know already got married this year. And then if you hop onto Black YouTube, it is like being a child times 10. Like the young Black guys doing podcasts are like saying the most outrageous, ludicrous things, or they're just nonstop dancing. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's scary. It's scary. I'm like, oh my God. We doing bad. And so I'll look and I'll see some of the young black YouTubers who are like in Instagram stuff who are like, hey, this is like how I run my business. So they're not too gone, but they're close, right? And then I see the young Hispanic guys, they're not playing the college thing here. They're like, hey, let's get to a business bank account. Let's hire some folks. Let's kick it up. Let's go, right? There's a sea of older millennials. I don't know, and I'm being careful how I say this, like 32 to 35, who are like, yo, I tried different businesses during the pandemic. I tried different stuff. Let me go hop into tech. Let me go hop into here. And all I'm just saying is I want y'all to pay attention to the trends, right? You find a problem. And what was the common theme of most of these white guys podcasts and newsletters that they own? They find a problem. They get some traffic to it. They just give the solutions in the echo chamber, right? So prime example, there was one guy who had like a preppers thing, right? And all he did is when he was in school, everybody was mad about Obama. So he just made a newsletter and he just had little clicks, affiliate marketing clicks to all this prepper stuff. He makes 3 million a year from affiliate marketing, writing to a newsletter of people who are like trying to be prepared. So he's just solving a problem, like, so they feel more comfortable. They're solving some type of problem, right? They're getting in that echo chamber. And then if you look on here, I want y'all just to understand, like, how does a person become old money, right? They really hyper focus on the first thing, right? Whether it's the railroad, it's the airplanes, it's building houses, it's a roofing company, it's a whatever, right? They really hardcore focus on that. And then they take the money and deploy it into things that put money back in their pocket. So you'll be here in Texas and you'll meet somebody who, my dad's a first generation millionaire and their dad done build up something in Houston, right? There's a guy who's in Houston. His dad has like one of the best cabinet companies in all of Texas or something. And then the dad started investing in oil and gas and other businesses and flipping houses. And so now when the guy talks about it, he's just like, oh yeah, we've been had money. No, no, no. You ain't been had money. Your dad created all this money, right? Same thing when I told you about the Sean Coakley stuff. His dad was in oil and gas and Nigerian. So him just hanging out at a particular school in a particular environment with certain people allowed them all to ride the coattail of, oh, let's get this attention. Let's have these websites. Oh, who do you use for your suppliers, right? Max Tuning up there making a $50 million candy company, getting it put in all the Harris Teeters, all the Targets and all these places. It's like, these kids are getting to it, right? The problem I'm seeing, to be truthfully honest, as I've watched certain Gen Xers, is they're stuck on the 90s. They're stuck on, man, these were feel good times. Everybody could get factory work. These women ain't acting right. They're getting divorces. And you're like, oh my God, y'all stuck. Like, you got to be able to learn and unlearn. Don't depend on no entitlements and don't depend on any business platform. Business platform right here is YouTube. This is a platform. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got TikTok. Don't depend on any platform, okay? And what happens is there's a bunch of YouTubers who've been quitting, right? They've been on YouTube 10, 11 years, they've been quitting. And my problem is they realize it went from being fun and a hobby to like an actual business. And they just depended on this platform. So when this platform adjusts every couple of months, what it does, their feelings are hurt. And I'm like, I'm here. This is just a business. Okay. Like I'm tripling down on Facebook and I'm tripling down on Instagram for the next, and not in the way you think, like producing content, but like just ad spend, promo pages, funnels and landing pages, simple stuff that just grows people, right? So this person's gonna get on this landing page. They're gonna get on. I have never heard of this woman. Who is this woman? They're gonna go look, Google me, and be like, oh, her. See, in this space, you guys may have heard of me, but there are people when you go on YouTube or Instagram, I've never heard of them before, and y'all will send them to me, and I'll be like, wow, who's this person? And that's kind of what happens in any of these platforms. They kind of send you to a certain amount of people, and that's it, and they stop. So part of being independent means you have to, I'm going to be seen to as many customers as I choose. Not, you don't get to choose, I get to choose. YouTube doesn't tell me who's going to see my stuff. I'm going to tell YouTube who's going to see my stuff. Now you can say that could be ads, that could be different stuff. Cool. But at the end of the day, that's the kind of the rebelliousness of the IG platform, is that all these people are doing these promo pages, right? They're like, yeah, we're gonna get around this. We're gonna make $10,000, $20,000 a month off Instagram, and we're gonna get around them, and they don't even realize it, right? And so in this research we've been doing, and it's sitting in this mastermind group I'm in, they're naming off kids and people I've never even heard of. And when I call them a kid, they're like 19, right? And I'll be like, I've never heard of that person. And it reminds me of yesterday, Diamond Dave talking about lack of exposure, where people are not exposed to these other people. So they're in these silos where they're talking about men and dating and relationships and fat people and stupid shit every day. That's all they talk about. They show up to work and then they just do that every Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, they're looking for the cookout. They're looking for the Hennessy bottle. They goofing. Uh and it's on repeat. And so I want you to understand, like, for that person that's been on repeat and not paying attention, you're going to work longer. You're going to work longer. Bob said, what company of gas do you invest in? I don't tell people what to invest in here, Bob. I don't. I just don't. It's not financial advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just saying you need to study, right? You gotta really study. And if you're in my Wealth Wednesdays, I kind of share some of my platform stuff. I kind of share what's in the portfolio. Even the transformer list, I can share that. That's not even a big deal because that's just showing you transformers. There's activity going on out there. I pass rigs over near the Southwest Pass for work every week. For sure, Dave. For sure. Congrats to joining the member. Um, oh, yeah, yeah. Paul Ryan, they had to get him up out of there. He was telling it too fast. Those generations do not trust the military way at this point. Yeah, for sure. For sure. They don't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Same with Greece. These people were retiring in their 50s. I'm like 59. And they start going hard on these people. Like, sorry, we lied. This is when we created Social Security, when people were dying of black lung by the time they were 45, 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a different time, right? Tam, topic's clicking off. The white boys from 2024 are making 150K up in tech. They've never been anywhere, but they venturing out. They are also getting married, and their wives are in tech too. Yeah, like I looked up a couple here on YouTube, and they were literally like, holy crap, they were a black girl and a white guy, and they met at work, and they're kind of documenting them being software developers. And I'm like, they live in their own little world away from. Do you know what I'm saying? They in their own little world, and people are not prepared to hear that. Here's the funny part. These platforms, these streaming platforms, know how much y'all love the 90s, that they're buying up, like Hanging with Mr. Cooper and all these shows that, like, Cat Williams had brought up and different people have been referencing. They actually have been buying them up and putting them on those streaming platforms. So it's actually good now. Unfortunately, it's like a little bit late, but it's actually good for all those people who were in the 90s with these TV shows. And so they're finally getting, their just dues. Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I saying this? This is, and again, I'm gonna show two things. This is the transformer thing I was telling you about. Just go look it up for yourself. Again, this isn't unbiased. This isn't financial advice. This ain't none of that. This is the top transformer manufacturers. You can find this here. Okay. And here's the list of the companies. They tell you what they kind of work on. And I want y'all to understand, like, each one does different stuff. Some of them is renewable energy, medical, some are food and beverage, and some do, low voltage stuff, small stuff. Some of them do big stuff, right? They're all different. They've been around since, some of them 1911, some of them 1999. And so you just got to review it, right? Again, 1903, the one in Milwaukee. 1847, the one in DC. 1999 was the one in Washington and California. I just want y'all to go read some of these things. You just go read what they make and what they do and how long they've been around, and switch mode power. Like, just read it for a little bit. Just read it for a little bit. I'm not giving any kind of a financial advice. Go see if they're in the stock market. Go read them a little bit. Same thing with oil and gas. There is a thing they put out, and Austin fell low. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Every day I come on here and y'all send me something. I'll be like, I don't even know what they sending me. And I go look up somebody. This is how I tell you this platform picks winners and losers. It picks winners and losers, and it decides what it wants to do, where it wants to niche you. And here's the thing. Here's just the truth of social media business. If I have something and I know it sells, because let's say it's selling to y'all, and I have my conversions, I know my numbers, and I'm like, man, I can't get these views past a certain amount. I know if I go get 1 million eyes on this thing that I have, I would have $1 million to $2 million in my pocket. Right? How do I know? How do I know? I'm in too many little groups and settings and online little masterminds with other YouTubers, and they're getting high traffic, and their product and services shit. Just plain and simple. Because they always say, well, if you don't have a great product, you're not going to get sales. That's not true. These people have like millions of views. And so the product and service is going to get by just percentages of numbers. Right. So there's one guy I love, follow him, Johnny Bravo. And he's always like, hey, I put the course at a discount for $199. Now, if you hit the button when he's not on his live show, you get it's regular price. It's like $1,000. But the link he puts on during the live show, it's $199. And you can tell it's making him millions of dollars. He left California. He's building a house from the ground up. Like, he's not like, oh, I'm just going to buy $1 million house here in Texas. No, he's building one from the ground up. And what you have to realize is, like, these people have 1 million subs and only like 40% of their 40,000 views on a video. Why? Because they're controlling the algorithm. They're also controlling the how many notifications you get. And so you have to decide, okay, I can't be business platform dependent. I have to go get my 1 million views. And again, Aristotle Invest, he would get 1 million views a week. Like, he'd post every day, see which reel did the best, and then he would run it up so that 1 million eyes would see that particular reel that week. This is just a business. This social media stuff is a business, and if you treat it like one and don't have your feelings tied to it, you'll be fine. That's why it scares me that it silos us to different communities, right? Like Diamond Dave, the stuff I see in the stock market, he should have 50,000 subscribers by now. And so part of me doing my ads, anybody who's been under my team or somebody I've introduced y'all to, I'm going to make sure we're good. I'm going to get 1 million eyes to our products and services. I'm going to get 1 million eyes to anything I'm affiliate marketing, because they deserve 1 million eyes to it. Period. Point blank period. I see too much junk and crap out here that gets 1 million eyes and is trash. So I'm like, all right, cool. Y'all are going to make me pay. Okay, I'm going to pay on this platform and over here, because there's 1 million ways to get around what you're doing. Period. The Rock was a good TV show, but that's what I'm saying. They're literally going and buying and putting them on these streaming platforms because they know, like, if I can get 1 million aunties, let's just do basic math. If I can go get 1 million aunties and uncles who want to watch 1990s feel good, TV shows, to pay a $5.99, $10.99 a month subscription, right? Okay, right? If I get you on the $10.99 subscription and there's 1 million of you on the subscription, now I got $10 million rolling through our accounts every month for our streaming company. At the end of the year, we done made $120 million, right? This is very much a numbers game. So you don't need everybody to see that streaming platform. You just need 1 million Black aunties and uncles who really love the 90s shows and want to see that stuff. That's just it. So at this point, once I've established, like, you'll literally get in rooms with some of these guys, they're like, hey, don't cry about it. Just run your money, just run your ads. And I'm like, I know. I hate it, but I know it's the truth. And so that because if you get too deep into some of these, like, hey, do this with your YouTube channel, that you get really very boring. And it's almost like reading a teleprompter. So I want to stay organic. I want to stay doing it. And I mean, when I mean organic, I mean the content. I want to do it the way I want to do it. I want to talk to y'all the way I want to talk to y'all. I don't want to have these like, like, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. You're right. Like, I like the way I do it. I just got to 1 million eyes to it. That's all. So this is the best places to live list in the United States, 2023, 2024. And every time they come out with these lists, I want you to understand the traffic has already been moving there. They're just telling you about it now. Like, they've already seen the data and traffic has started moving there. So Green Bay, Wisconsin, right? Why? Because people moved out of other parts of Wisconsin during the, what's his name? Whatever that guy that died, I'm sorry, his name. Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville, Alabama has been booming for the past 10 years. And now they're telling you it's number 2 on the list. Raleigh has been booming for 20 years. It's number 3 on the list. Boulder, Colorado. Tam, you was just in Boulder or near Boulder. Okay, how did it make number 4? Oh, well, Deion Sanders is there, but not only just Deion Sanders is there, like the value ever since Deion Sanders came to town, the house properties have all went up 100,000 plus. Appreciation, 100,000 plus. Okay, Sarasota, Florida. Why are people in Sarasota, Florida? Because they're moving from Miami. So a lot of Florida's on here, Florida, Naples. They're moving from Miami, and then you have people coming down from New York to get the Florida experience. Portland, Maine. Why? Because it's cheaper than it's cheaper than New York, right? Again, these people are just moving around. Charlotte, North Carolina is number 8. Colorado Springs is number 9. Let me tell you about Colorado Springs. Military town near it. Okay, let's keep it a buck. I knew girls who moved there because they wanted to be more near military towns, military people. Fayetteville, Arkansas. What's going on? Walmart. Right? Bentonville, Rogersville, Springdale. Okay, they're all in that same little conglomerate. Okay. Madison, Wisconsin, Boise, Idaho. What happened? Boise, Idaho had like a stop on the brakes, not even maybe half a year ago, where it was just tons of people just pouring in from California. And then when too many Californians get there, they're like, well, I don't want to go there because everybody else goes there. It's like their economy had a stop last summer. But again, they're on this list now, so they're going to talk about it. San Jose, California. Why? It's called the capital of Silicon Valley. People move around. That's all. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Why? It's got a lot of tech there now. They making sure they getting up away from Detroit and other areas. Melbourne, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida has the number 1 city for Hispanic home ownership in the whole country of America. What does that tell you? These folks is moving around. Okay? These folks is moving around. Okay? Folks are moving around. Okay? And so they're just documenting it. Okay? Albany, New York. Now, everybody you know from New York, when you ask them about Albany, they're like, it's 150 miles north. It's cold. Why would anybody be there? Pricing. If you're going to stay in New York anyway, pricing. You're going to ride the train anyway, pricing. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, one of the dirtiest, nastiest beaches that South Carolina offers. One of the dirtiest, stankingest, nasty beaches South Carolina offers out of the 13 beaches that you could go to. Why are people moving to Myrtle Beach? Because it used to be cheap and biker gangs hanged out there. So somebody from up north, they don't know that. They get down there like, look how cheap this house is. Yeah, it's real cheap. I remember after the 2008 crash, there was condos for $10,000 for sale. I'm not Myrtle Beach. And I remember telling my family, they're like, but it's Myrtle Beach. Who wants that condo? You know what I mean? It was so funny. But that's a real thing that happened. We were on auction sites and our family was like, no, it's Myrtle Beach. Des Moines, Iowa, right? Same thing. California folks, right? Grand Rapids, Michigan, same thing. Technology. Knoxville, Tennessee. Why? University of Knoxville. Okay. Syracuse, New York. Fort Collins, right? Used to be overshadowed by Colorado's heavily populated Fort Front Range and is a famous snow town, right? Tampa, Florida. Why? Because again, Miami, and then also your girl that everybody is mad at, Ark Invest founder was like, this is gonna be the next Austin, Texas. Her and like 13 other tech companies out of New York came down there. I think it's closer to 100 now, but at the time it was 13 tech and investment companies. Hickory, North Carolina. It is one of the worst little funky little no towns. I've had friends try to move back home and be like, I hate it here. I'm like, I don't know why you went back there. But it's cheap. It's cheap because ain't nobody want to be there. Nobody from there want to be there. So people be like, you seen this cheap town? And they start moving there. Rochester, New York. Buffalo, New York. Y'all already know. Come on, same stuff. Pensacola, Florida. Asheville, North Carolina. This is where all the gays came out of New York and moved down there in the 80s. And it was literally abandoned downtown. And all these, like, I'm just being honest, all these very well-to-do, the young men from New York came down and was like, we're going to create this town again. And you know what? They did a great job. They did a great job. They call it the Paris of the South and Beer City, but you'll see when you get there. It's very flamboyantish. The college is there. There's lots of weed smoking there. You don't even realize you're in North Carolina when you're there. You be like, what is going on? Okay. Greenville, South Carolina. It's the spillover outside of Tech and leaving Charlotte. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Low cost of living. Keep it a buck. Um, Lexington, Kentucky. People leaving California want to have that Kentucky South meets Midwest vibe. Portland, Oregon. Why? Just why? Savannah, Georgia. Cheap. It's the dirty Charleston. That's what we call it. The dirty Charleston. Where else? And Austin is down here at number 40. Now this list goes to 150 cities, but you can look at it for yourself. But I just want to. The reason I brought it up is so many people are moving around because they have to, like the cost of living, right? How can I make my dollar stretch? If I know how to just hop online and create a newsletter or do technical work from home or a collection of some rentals, I can go live in some of these other places. It's just that simple. It really is. And that is why I brought it up in the beginning of the show of seeing all these younger white guys who are like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, I live in Ohio, but it's because I have this $1 million business. And this is the steps. And they walk you through. What's crazy about these podcasts is they walk you through every single step. And people, like, there's one white dude right now. He's 40 something, maybe 50. And he talks about he's on his 4th company he just bought. And he literally shows them how to buy $1 million business. He does a whole walkthrough on his YouTube channel. That video only has 300 views. And I'm sitting here like, what? Y'all do see how he just showed you how every step, like, he's not hiding a thing. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And so the other podcast I looked at, these young guys are like, oh yeah, you just read this and do this and plug and play and you go about your day. And so you're talking to these guys who are going to be 20, 26, 27, 28. They've been a millionaire multiple years in a row. They have had $1 million business multiple years in a row. They're living in a different America than your cousin who's 25 sitting in the house being goofy. By the Hood just did a video and they were saying how this woman had her 2 sons. She let them have a gap year and she let them stay at her house while she moved in with her husband, because she got remarried later in life. And they barely make $3,000 together. But I can't hold on to the house anymore because they're like 23 and 25. And I'm like, as By the Hood's reading this, and I'm like, she listen, it's ugly. I'm just gonna say it. She failed them. There's no way you're 20, 23 and 25 and one of them can't make more than $1,200 a month. That means he's like working part-time at Best Buy, if that, part-time at a gas station. The other one barely making 2K a month. They don't have any skills. She's going to have to keep paying the mortgage on the house. It doesn't make any sense. She didn't prepare them for anything. This is why when, our family used to get kind of like back and forth mad with each other because we were sending every single boy off to the military and people were like, maybe we should get away from this. And I'm like, it works. Every single boy comes back. He's 21, 22. He's like, I decided I don't want to stay anymore. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to buy my house, my VA loan, and they're fine. They have instruction and direction. The 1 or 2 boys in our family that didn't go, what happens? They get lost out there. You have to have a plan for your children. And people are like, you don't know, you don't have kids, you can't tell your kids what to do. I literally have watched fathers in our family be like, no, son, this is what you're going to do. And you can do the National Guard because you don't want to go full time, but you're going to do this. Go on, do this basic training. Go on. I don't want to hear it. Here, take this. Go on. Go on through this. And in 4 years, it was wrong. You can do something else. And every guy's like, man, that really helped me. That gave me direction. That saved my life. The one cousin we had that didn't follow the path, but his dad was on his neck every day. Like, you're going to finish this engineering degree. And if you better finish right now. So now he's at a place where they make like pills or something, like pills for like $35 a month, $35 an hour. And then if he finishes this part of the whatever training, he can make $40 an hour. And so he's the one boy that didn't do the military. And everybody's like, but his dad was on his neck. He's 24 and his dad's been on his neck every daggone day, And so it's like, I want y'all to understand what I'm seeing from these Gen Z, these white boys that went on and got married at 21, 22, 23, and the data is reflecting it. They are getting married. They buying homes as well. Gen Z are buying homes and getting married. Only older millennials are getting married, which is 30, 35 to 41. Y'all, it's crazy. I'm just telling you, go read the data. Go read it. Diamond Day by the Hood, you and so many positive channels should have more uppers. I'm not, at this point, I'm not worried about this platform. I'm not platform dependent. I'm just gonna go put the money to the ads and be like, yo, we're just gonna get them into the email list, get them into the sales. That's all. Get them into the funnel. I had 17,000 taken out for taxes, SSI, state, damn. Yeah. I mean, but I think, we'll see it for another 15 years, D Brown. You know what I'm saying? We'll see it for another 15 years. You'll be straight. Sarasota has money in a huge community. Let's talk about Colorado Springs. What's good about them? Tell me about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically, but that's the thing. That is your retirement. D Brown, if you ever meet older black people, and not saying you're not older, but I'm saying like 60s, their form of retirement was like, oh, we had this other house and we got our mom's house and we got this other house and we're renting it out. In this military town, most people you meet that are like retired military guys, they aren't just depending on their pension. They usually have 2 or 3 little houses that they rent out. Yeah, my tenant so this, my tenant so that. And I be laughing, but it's because, you know what I mean? Because that's how retirement used to be. You had to create your retirement. You didn't just depend like, oh, the government's going to give me this check every month. What if it don't? Right? And really the spend of some of these older folks is so low, they have excess money left over to pick up a little 20K house and slowly work on it and dabble and fix stuff themselves. She said Myrtle Beach used to be able. Yeah, it's Ohio people. That's all it is. It's Ohio people moving to South Carolina in droves. They had over 300,000 medical staff, related staff in Ohio that moved from Ohio to South Carolina. Tampa is government contracting. Yep. Hickory is real cheap. Listen, Hickory one time made a list for the worst city in North Carolina to find a date or some shit. And it was so funny. I just was like, yikes. Let me see. How to buy. I have it in my list. One of the guys in my little mastermind group sent it to me, but I just watched it. I'll share it in the community wall maybe tomorrow or something. But it was like, what? And so some of the people who literally who are teaching like straight up the whole, hey, what this is what I'm doing. I'm just documenting my whole process. Like there's a lady out in Bryan's where College Station is, Bryan, Texas, and she's in her 50s, right? And she is doing renovation of like Bryan, the town of Bryan, basically, because it's right there by the college, and college Aggie land has been getting so big. It's like these kids need somewhere to live. So she'll tear down houses in the old hood part and she'll put 6 townhouses up. And people be in her comments just giving her crap. Like, oh, this is ugly. Why you put these townhouses up where this house is not at? And it's like, your town needs housing. Like she's a developer. So what's funny is the people who are complaining there's not enough housing are like shitting on developers when they're putting up housing. So crazy. Dave's like, I didn't do college or military. I went straight into workforce. And that's but again, there's a level of maturity too, right? Some of these kids are not gonna act right. Dave, man, I'll send you a message, but I sat with some young guys and they were like, oh no, just do this, tweak that. Cause I was trying to find, there's a list and everybody has it, right? You know what I'm saying? There's not everybody has it, but there's certain people who have it. And there's this one British boy who has like 100 promo pages. And it's like, yo, just give me the list. How do I get his list? And then there's another guy who has like 50 promo pages. And he's white and they're all black promo pages. Like very clearly the black is a black audience looking at the pages. And so basically talking to these young men, I was able to get that list. So, and I able to contact with that company. But yeah, they do all kind of packages and stuff. You just got to keep talking to them like, hey man, look, come on, work with me here. Give me a better package. You know what I'm saying? And so long and the story short, there are people I've watched in a 9-month window make $5 million just because she's getting eyes on her stuff. And literally I've seen her on like 20 promo pages. And I'm like, y'all, that is what it happens in 9 months because the pipeline of leads is just full. right? So the 4 little landing pages I made to go start running ads to, and using like clips of content to get people into those email lists. Like the guy was like, "Man, your stuff is really good." And I was just laughing because I'm like, "I know, but if you stay platform dependent on this business platform, YouTube, and YouTube only wants to show you to a few people, you'll be stuck there, right? You have to decide, no, no, YouTube, you don't tell me where I'm going to go. I'm going to go over here to Facebook and run some ads. Okay. I'm going to go, and I created a Facebook group, like 3 of them, but the first one has 45,000 people breaking into tech. It's a whole business in a box. I've had 5 requests to sell it. It's crazy. Okay. Now I go over here to Instagram and I go, okay, I got this list. I don't want all 100 of the pages at one time because I can't afford that. One, two, because the kids get crazy with the prices. But I'm like, let's hit up 20 at a time and let's see what happens, right? But I want y'all to understand, like, that's a full on game. There's a dude who has a like $7 million company, uh, and they make 7 million a year, and that's all he's doing is running shout outs. It's insane. It's insane. My plan is to siphon money out of this country. International's long game. Congratulations. Listen, anybody that wants to go international, I absolutely want y'all to understand. Please go do it, right? But you have to, anywhere you go, set up some type of community. Like, no matter where you go, you got to set up some type of community. So just be careful. That's all. Come on, man. You absolutely can tell kids what they're going to do. Make this money now and follow your. That's what I be telling people. I'm like, they be like, you can't, these kids are this and that. And I'm like, y'all, get out of here. Get out of here. So, David, part of my experience when I was looking overseas to invest and buy was we already had a wave of older white British people do it. Let's just say it like this. In Panama, there's a bunch of houses for sale that are slightly, need a little bit of help, but they're all from the 80s and 90s where British people left London, and they lived in Panama or they lived in Belize or they lived in all the different little Caribbean spots. And so now that their parent has died, their kids have no desire to be in those countries or they go back to London or whatever. And now those houses are for sale. So, yes, there are a lot of opportunities, but it's almost like you're not charting your own unique dream. You're basically following what some British folks did because British were very known for being well traveled like that and living in other countries for long periods of times that way. So even in Africa, when people are getting to Africa, they're realizing there's Chinese families that have been there for a long time, Indian families. There was like this girl was showing this one country, I think it's Equatorial New Guinea, is they speak Spanish. They're the only African country speaking completely Spanish. Then you go to the country beside it, I forgot the name. Oh no. And they speak Portuguese. And so this guy was like, that's how he's been able to travel to other countries. That's how he was able to go to Brazil and not have any problems from Africa because he could speak Portuguese in his country. So you're getting to these countries and it ain't nothing new. It's like you're just the newest British person. And I'm saying this in all respect. Like that's great. I want you to go travel, do whatever, take your money out of this country. I'm going to double down, and this is not financial advice. I'm doubling down on these digital companies, like things like this Facebook group is like a digital company, right? And what it can produce by itself independently. Um, and a particular, I've got 2 other companies, a service business and another business, but that's for the Wealth Wednesday folks. They'll hear about that. But taking that money that we make this year and dumping it into certain type of rentals in certain locations, dumping it a little bit into gold and dumping it into oil and gas heavy and transformers. You know what I'm saying? These companies are privately owned companies and the government's like, hey, can y'all build some more transformers just in case? And they're like, you forget the military, 99% of the military is dependent on civilian energy companies. So yeah, the military can come in and be like, y'all really need to build some more transformers. And the company be like, I just don't know. We don't have no money. So then what's gonna happen to government? Because see, Obama started it. He was like, we really got to get it up to 8%, y'all. Got to get the grid support and and they're like, I don't know. Then Trump comes along and is like, look, Obama was nice to y'all. He asked y'all to get this done. Y'all not doing it. I'm going to do an executive order. It's the only executive order that Biden didn't reverse. So they're sitting here telling you what they need. They're telling you what they're going to write a big check for. We're using up the reserves of oil and gas. So what they done told you, we done used up all the reserves. So guess what's going to make tons of money? Who's going to be making tons of money for the next 10 years? Oil and gas. Right? You see all the fallout with Tesla and these cars not working in the frozen tundras. Guess what? We still gonna be focused on oil and gas. Okay, so again, they done told you what time it is. So I support anybody who goes overseas, invest in other countries, but you have to go over there and you have to create a community. There are two black basketball players that came to America, and now they're over in Africa and they own gas stations, which is amazing. That's great. They're investing in their people, and half the time they tell you in their interviews they got to pave the road to get more gas stations where they want to put them because the government itself is dysfunctional, and they know it's dysfunctional because that's just a part of doing business. And so that's anywhere you go. So Costa Rica made a ton of money in the 90s off white American boys going down there to surf. They made a ton of money in the 80s off the British coming down there. Now Costa Rica's having a resurgence with like black Americans coming down there and open up all these retreats. Like I don't know if y'all remember Lisa Left Eye Lopez was down there in Costa Rica and Belize and these places. It's a circular thing, David. So I wish you the best. I congratulate you. Let me know how it goes out there. But that's why I tell people, I'm like, even though people make fun of O'Shea Duke Jackson, he has a whole studio. He has like 20 employees. He got a whole life in Africa. He ain't come down there like with his hand out. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. Your family did their jobs. Parents are supposed they're supposed to. They're supposed to tell you where you're supposed to go. One of my biggest regrets to this day, and I told people this, is I didn't do the Air Force for the 4 years that I was kind of goofing off with the American Red Cross. I really look back at that time. I'm like, girl, you could have did the Air Force. Your cousin was gonna help push you through it. It was gonna be your person. You'd have been fine. You'd have been probably stationed in Nebraska or stationed overseas somewhere real quick for a second. It wouldn't even been that big of a deal. Yes, I was talking to my cousin in the army. She has a rental and will get her retirement food. Yeah, listen, she can get disability starting today. Once you start hitting 250 and wake up, W2 takes as a beast. Oh yeah, you got to find all kind of ways to put that money to work somewhere else. Yeah, email list. Listen, let me tell you something. If YouTube cancels all this tomorrow, I still have about 15 to 16,000 people on an email list. So guess what? This could all go away and I go, "Oh my god, you guys, my they took away my YouTube. Oh Lord Jesus. I've got 4 other channels." Right? Like there's one channel we're just going to start dumping clips on, tech clips on. We're going to try this again. Like we tried to move some videos off here and YouTube was like, "Nope, got rid of that channel. They deleted it for me." But we're going to try one more time. We're going to take some tech clips and just put them over there. And we're going to take the investing clips and put them on another one. So it doesn't matter if they say, "Well, we're going to get rid of this channel or we're going to choke it to death." Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they do that because we have the email list. Then what are we doing when we go over here to Instagram as we're running the ads for the next 90-day blitz? Every landing page, you have to do what? Give me your email to get the stuff. You got to give me your email to buy the stuff or even just view the stuff or just get the ebooks or just get the certain videos or get the free webinars every time. So let's do the basic math, which I apologize for that in the phone. That's probably very loud. Let's do some math. And this is free game for anybody who's caring. All right. So let's just say I get 1 million views, right? Traffic. They go to the landing page. Only 1 to 5% of people are going to even click into that or even put their email into that. So maybe that's 50,000 people out of 1 million, right? Then out of the landing page to really convert them to sales, either they're going to either watch something else, click some more stuff, get some more emails out of us. That's 20 to 40% of people buy, right? Now, and that's not even buying. That's actually just getting further in, right? They're getting into our ecosphere. Well, then if you actually get them to buy a purchase, that's down to 3 to 10%. So by the time you sent a million eyes to your certain traffic, depending on your funnel, you're going to either get 2,000 people buy something or you're going to get closer to 5,000 people buy something. Now you're going to say, well, Erica, God, that's not a lot of people out of 1 million eyes, but it's perfect. If you have $1,000 offer times 2,000, that's what, you guys? That's $2 million. If you've got a $500 product service to 2,000 people, that's what? That's $1 million. You got a $5,000 product or service to 1 million people, and less than the 1% after I just ran through that whole dialogue there. Buy, you still walked away with a ton of money. Now, many people say, well, Erica, only 3% of people are ready to buy at any given time. The other 97% aren't. True. That's true. That's why people have these email lists. Okay. The one young lady that made the $5 million in the 9 months, she has 450,000 people on her email list. Guess what she posted last week? A red energy lamp. and it's kind of has like the lights all in front of it, and it gives you certain things. And I'm a subscriber to the red light therapy, so I'm not gonna clown it. I lived in Alaska, and they gave us red light therapy as kids. So anyway, um, long and the story short, the red light therapy thing cost about $300. If out of her email list of 450,000 people, even if just 1,000 people bought that thing for that $300 off Amazon, she got 10%. Old girl's rolling around with 30K, 40K off people just clicking something she don't even own. There's one white dude who does affiliate marketing for all black lady products. I wish I could put his name out there, but I don't want to have no drama from the group I'm in. And all his stuff is focused to black women. And you know how he got it? He has black ladies working for him, and they give him all the, like, these are the problems, these are the concerns, this is the products we looking for. And they work for him. And he writes up all this good copywriting, and he gets and he makes a ton of money off black women. And I sit there in the group like, I can't even be disrespectful. I respect it. He does have a black girlfriend, so I'm gonna give him a 2 inch of a break. Like, all right, well, he got a black girlfriend. He do like black women, but he showed up making money off us. So that's another thing. Y'all just gotta realize once you get out here, and I'll probably share some of these podcasts that I was talking about tomorrow for my group I was in. But a lot of these white dudes, I mean, they ain't playing. They literally are one man solo, $1.7 million companies. Stuff's on autopilot, auto email. They just run ads. It's crazy. There are so many Asian and Middle Eastern people living in the Caribbean. They have businesses like they do everywhere else. Yeah. Everywhere else. Sorry. Excuse me, making that noise in y'all ear. My child will not be attending college. My family is not happy. She's 10 and will be a landlord collecting rent. Listen, and by the time she get older, she may want to do some other stuff. But even if she wants to go to college, once you own so many rentals, it's free. There were people I went to college with that I was like, man, they don't take nothing serious. I get back to my hometown. His dad is one of the highest ranking nationwide insurance agents. So when he got out of college from East Carolina, even though he didn't do no drinking party, he went over to that office and his dad gave him 100 clients. It didn't matter why he went to college. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, don't matter at all. Don't matter at all. The Navy let the Army build a portable nuclear reactor. They blew it up. That's crazy. But I believe it. That's why my mom and dad are Costa Rica night now. I'm telling you, it's just like when the British do something in the 80s, and then American, white boys do the surfing in Costa Rica in the 90s, right? And then now black people are kind of doing the Costa Rica thing, and they're helping each other and making little communities. And like I knew it was reaching a peak when I saw this girl. She's she's about 350 pounds. She might be close. She's not 400 pounds, but she big, and she talks about her weight, right? She has a daughter that's 11 years old. Her baby daddy lives in California and can barely see them once a week. Like, he just is in such bad condition in his life for whatever reason. He see him like once a week. And so she's like, yo, I'm gonna move to Costa Rica with our daughter. And he was like, well, okay. He's like, because I barely see y'all anyway. I see you like 4 times a month. And I know you always dream to travel. Then you got this kid. It'll be cheaper. You'll save money. It'll be fine. He don't even pay child support. You know what I mean? Because she said he doing bad. So ain't no point in her making him pay no child support. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she went on to Costa Rica. And so that's when I was like, oh yeah, it's hitting a peak. When like repeated stories of single black moms are like, I went to Costa Rica to have $300 rent with my baby. And my baby goes to school at the daycare for $50 a month. And I'm like, oh shit, y'all starting to go down there and cut up. But I already know that's what it is. I follow these trends. I follow them. I'm telling you, man. I mean, because you look up at 3-4 years, even if you don't. My bad. My bad. Was I muted a long time? I hope not. Lord, that's terrible. Taking my daughter to Paris for her 11th birthday. Hey, that's what's up. Watch out for them bed bugs out there, D Brown. Bed bugs is ferocious. Okay. I hope y'all heard me. I hope y'all did y'all hear me when I was talking about here, Costa Rica and the single moms? Put a one in the comments if you heard that. If you didn't, then that means y'all didn't hear it. But put a one in the comments if you heard me talk about the single moms going to Costa Rica because it said my mic was off. You see, you do these things on the fly and late. It's like crazy. I know it's a 30-second delay, so I'll let y'all let me know if you heard me talk about the single moms going to Costa Rica. Okay, you did. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Oh no, it cut off. Okay, so I was saying, I know things hit a certain level or a certain peak when I see um people who financially really couldn't go somewhere go. So prime example, the single mom that was out of California. I don't know if y'all heard me say it. I'm gonna say it one more time, just to repeat it. She's like 350 pounds. She's trying to lose weight. That's her whole journey. She stops drinking, and she has an 11-year-old child, like 10 going on 11 or something. And she's in California, like LA, and she's doing social media stuff, and she makes money. But her baby daddy that's out there, he only sees the daughter once a week. That's all he can afford to do. He just is doing bad financially in life, been doing bad the whole child's life. You know what I mean? And what you hear about some blacks in California, that's their life. They just do bad their whole life. He can't afford to come see her but one time a week. So she tells him, hey, listen, I'm gonna go to Costa Rica. I'm gonna take our daughter. You got any complaints? And he like, you ain't contributed any money. I didn't put you on child support because you're doing bad. So, what do you think? He's like, you know what? You always wanted to travel, and I will miss my daughter. I'll miss y'all, but I can't really do nothing for y'all. So go ahead. It's okay. Like y'all can leave. And so she leaves. And so now she's in Costa Rica, with $300 rent, and an 11-year-old daughter, and talking about how cheap stuff is and how she just they live life. And I showed y'all the rise with Rasby. I forgot how to say her name. But basically, long story short, her grandmother is a British white woman. Her mother, the British white woman grandma, basically had a black husband at one point, you know what I'm saying? Military. Okay. And then her mother had them in America, right? And her mother got on drugs, right? So her mother's real light skin, curly hair, was on drugs, and finally like got clean and is a therapist. Her daughter, who looks like a full black woman at this point, the grandma was there, but she's like full black woman. She was a airline stewardess and then accidentally got pregnant and was like, she got fired because Delta was doing a round of firing or something to that effect. And she was like, man, I'm on my last little $2,000. And she shows where she picked up and left and went to Costa Rica. Her, the baby, and 2 bags in the stroller on the last money she had. Right? And she goes down there, and then she started doing people's credit repair. She started doing different stuff. And I was like, everything you can do from your laptop, you can do anywhere. So she was down there doing that, and she's kind of created some communities. And that's part of why I wrote that ebook, because I'm like, I know how people do this. I did it myself. That's why I put that little travel ebook together. I'm like, you can go move to any of these countries and start a little community, start a little travel group, have people visit you once a quarter, make money. The blueprint's there. You know what I'm saying? But Costa Rica is now just what I said before. It's like the 80s, the British people were there. The 90s, the surfer white dudes from California were there, talking about how cheap it was, and they were travel bros. That's why this whole passport thing cracks me up, because I'm like, y'all are just doing what white dudes were doing in the 90s, hanging out in Asia, hanging out in the islands. And now black people are like, we're going to Costa Rica, we're going to Ghana, we're out of here. And I just be like, you don't read or you don't travel, because when we were doing all those carnival cruises and traveling all over the place as family for the past 20 years, since I've been 12 years old as a kid, everywhere we went, they had British people that had been there for years doing that. Everywhere. British people that been there. Indian people been there. Japanese, Chinese been there. Part of the reason you have jiu-jitsu today, Japanese and Brazil. You know what I mean? Like, it was a combination thing. But this is why I want y'all to understand, that none of this stuff is new, but don't be platform dependent, right? These people don't just stay on YouTube. They don't just stay on Instagram. They don't just stay on Facebook. They don't let like one hiccup stop them. They just don't, right? And they keep it moving. Thank you. I appreciate you. And so that's the part of what I want y'all to understand is like, I don't let this platform limit me. The next 90 days, we're doing our 90-day blitz. We're traveling to these different cities. We're taking photos. We're interviewing, people in public. We're doing probably golfing with Ryan Pieta and a few other people. You'll see it. You'll see photos of the stuff. And so you have to understand, like, they already done told you what they're going to do with the retirement age. They're going to want you to go up to 70 before they pay you. The government already done told you that these entitlements have to be cut or have to be reduced. They've been telling you it for years. And I just want you to understand that when I come on these platforms, and I'll say it, this is the last time I'll say it over again, I'm watching 18 to 24-year-old white guys and Asian guys go, "Oh yeah, I just started this software business, this SaaS as a SaaS company, this whatever." And a lot of it's run on automation and one or two employees, and it makes 1 to 3 million a year. They'll go on these podcasts and tell you every single step and every single way they did it. And they're married, like they're 23 years old. Beheza, one of the most popular YouTubers, was like, "Oh yeah, I got married." That's why I kind of just got off YouTube. I needed the balance. You know what I mean? Like some days I was up, some days I was down. But once I got married, I was chilling. You know what I mean? And so they were on there talking about that, right? They're on there talking about it and expressing how they do these things. And so they're telling you this is kind of how it goes, right? And so I'm running across a lot of these newsletters and SaaS as SaaS software as a service companies that are talking about their steps. And then there's the section of younger white guys who are like 23 to 25 who are like, "Oh, I own a service business. I don't know how to fix anything. I don't know how to repair anything. I don't know how to make any of these things. But, right? But I hired guys who do." And there will always be some guys who need a job. There will always be people who will come work for somebody because that is what we're mostly trained to do, 99% of us, at any school, any high school, any college. When I see people running to get their MBA, I giggle because there's a book called like Real MBA, and the Real MBA is you actually investing, you actually doing it, you actually starting a company. You getting an MBA shows me that you just want to go work for a Fortune 500 company or a bigger company. It doesn't show me that you want to start your own thing because you'd have started your own thing instead of spending 20 to 40 grand on a degree that won't matter in 5 years. When you could have got a certificate for half that price or 2,000. There's a Wharton certificate right now that's like $1,000. And if you get like all four, you have this combination of this, asset management certificate. And I was giggling because I'm like, they know only thing you want is the Wharton name. You can go on Udemy and a combination of some other high end, training at community college and get that same training, but they know you want the Wharton name. So that's what it is. They know you want the Wharton name. You want to put Wharton Business School on your LinkedIn. They know you want to do a pissing contest. So that's what they're selling you, and that's fine because there's going to be a generation of people who buy into that. There's going to be people 32 to 49 who are still trying to do the I've got a degree game and my degree says this, and it's like, girl, have you seen the world has changed? But most people are in these tiny silos, and so they haven't seen the world change and they don't know it's changed. Or one, they don't care because you could literally just keep being in your silo and let it do what it do. John, you can go anywhere you want. You want to get on Carnival cruises? It's a great way to start. You want to go anywhere you want to go, John. You can go anywhere in this world. Anywhere you want to go. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this video gave y'all something. I'll try to put some of those videos I saw and some of those podcasts, the videos I'm talking about where the guy was buying his fourth business and shows you how to buy $1 million business. I'll put it in the community wall. And then you can just get it from there. You can get it from there. And then usually I post some of this stuff I post links to is on my members only channel. So that's probably why some of y'all aren't seeing it on the community wall. It's just going to the members only. But that's what I had for y'all tonight. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys are preparing. This is your girl, Erica Williams, Classic Line Blog. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. But we're getting on out of here. So I'll see you on the road pretty much in probably like 2 weeks here. February 3rd and 4th, Dallas, Texas. March 2nd and 3rd, Las Vegas, and Atlanta, May 4th and 5th. And DC is being moved to April. So you guys, this is your girl, Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Have a wonderful evening.